This is Detroit's Packard Plant. It's emblematic of the Motor City in two ways. First, it was built by the automotive industry, the home of the Packard Automotive Company, and was in fact the prototype of the modern factory, being the first building anywhere on Earth to use a reinforced concrete frame. It's also emblematic of Detroit, sadly, in its ruin. Like much of the city, with the decline of heavy manufacturing, it's been left by modern industry and is now the shell you see today. But there's much more to Detroit than concrete and ruins. As we'll see in this video, the classical architectural language, the buildings of Greece and Rome, were also influential throughout Detroit, and we'll see some wonderful examples in the next 5 minutes. This is the Wayne County building, finished in 1902. As you can see, it is the epitome of Beaux-Arts classicism, a brand of classical architecture made popular by the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. The dazzling white city of that exposition was widely imitated throughout the country, and we see here, 9 years later, a late manifestation. It is classical from top to bottom, beginning with the wonderful rusticated masonry of the base, a style popularized in ancient Rome by Emperor Claudius, who favored its antiquarian look, and popularized via Vitruvius by Renaissance architects. Above it, in the portico, we have these wonderful Corinthian columns. Corinthian, the most elaborate of the classical orders, was the style most favored in Rome, and so is imitated here. Above, in the pediment, we see Man Anthony Wayne, the namesake of Wayne County, in which Detroit sits, negotiating with Native Americans after the Battle of the Fallen Timbers in 1794. Higher still are two quadrigas, the four-horse chariots that crowned Roman triumphal arches. These two are allegorical, representing triumph and progress. Higher still, we have more columns, more pediments, and more classical goodness. This is Cadillac Place. Detroit is the Motor City, and for many years, the biggest of the big three, General Motors, was headquartered here. In the early 20s, when GM moved from Flint to Detroit, Albert Kahn, the most prolific Detroit architect, was commissioned to build a building that was both functional and beautiful. He created this, a vast Renaissance palazzo inspired by ancient Rome. There are pilasters, lines of columns, on both the top and the base of the building, and between, the limestone detailing, despite its vast scale, is also classical in inspiration. The four wings ensure that each of the offices had its own window. So despite its modern function and its vast scale, this is a legacy of the classical world. When it was finished in 1913, Michigan Central Station was the tallest station on Earth. That's thanks to the office block you see in the back, which is executed in the same Beaux-Arts style we saw on the Wayne County building earlier in this video. But it's the terminal, the front part of the building, that really makes it stand out. Designed by the same men who created Grand Central Station in New York City, it's modeled after the great baths of Imperial Rome, the baths of Caracalla in particular. For many years, Michigan Central was a symbol of Detroit's decline. It was abandoned for 3 decades and a gutted ruin for most of that. But now, thanks to the Ford Company's renovation, it's been restored to its original splendor and stands as an enduring symbol both of Detroit's resilience and of the enduring influence of classical architecture in the Motor City.